I kept you in my life just to feel wanted again. Not because I loved you, not because I needed you, because your desire for me was the only thing that made me feel alive. Every text you sent, every time you looked at me like I was magic, every moment you chose me over other plans. It was all fuel for an ego that was starving. I'm going to show you the 6 things I did to use your desire as my validation drug. But here's what you need to understand. I wasn't doing just one of these things. I was doing all of them, every time I felt invisible. By the end of this, you'll understand why some women keep men around like emotional vitamins. Thing number 1. I collected your compliments like trophies for my ego. Every, "You're beautiful," every, "You're amazing," every, "I've never met anyone like you." I saved them. I replayed them. I used them as evidence that I was worth something. Not because I believed them, because I was addicted to the way they made me feel powerful. Week 3. You tell me I'm the most interesting person you've ever met. I smile and say thank you, but inside I'm thinking, finally, someone sees what I need them to see. I screenshot our conversation later that night. Month 2. You compliment my laugh during dinner. I remember this for weeks, pulling it out whenever I feel inadequate. I start laughing more around you, not because I'm happy, but because I want more of that validation. My stomach churns knowing I'm performing for praise. Month 4. You say I'm beautiful when I'm not wearing makeup. I feel a rush of power knowing I can look effortless and still be desired. I start accidentally being makeup-free around you more often to collect more of these moments. Psychology calls this external validation dependency, requiring constant affirmation from others to maintain self-worth. I wasn't just enjoying your compliments, I was hoarding them. When other people made me feel small, I'd mentally replay every nice thing you'd ever said about me. You became my personal cheerleader, and I became addicted to the performance. Every compliment you gave me was like a hit of a drug that made me feel worthy for a few hours. My chest tightens every time I remember how calculated this was. But here's where I started playing with your emotions. Thing number 2. I used your jealousy as proof of my value. The more threatened you felt by other men, the more valuable I felt as a woman. I didn't create drama for the sake of drama. I created it because your jealousy was my confirmation that I was worth fighting for. I would mention other guys just to watch your face change. Month 5. I casually bring up a male coworker who's been really helpful with a project. I watch your jaw tighten and feel a surge of satisfaction. I'm not interested in him, but I'm fascinated by your reaction. Month 7. I post a photo on social media where I'm laughing with a group that includes other men. When you ask about it later, I can hear the worry in your voice. Instead of reassuring you, I enjoy the power of making you wonder. Month 9. I tell you about a guy who asked for my number. I frame it like I'm sharing something innocent, but I'm really testing how much you care. When you get quiet and serious, I feel alive for the first time in weeks. This is what psychology calls triangulation, introducing a third party to create competition and increase your perceived value. I wasn't trying to make you suffer. I was trying to make myself feel worth suffering for. Every time you showed signs of jealousy, it proved that losing me would actually hurt you. And if losing me would hurt you, then I must be worth something. I was using your insecurity as my security blanket, and I justified it by telling myself you were just being possessive. I can't eat for hours after these moments because I know how cruel I'm being, but I can't stop needing that rush of feeling desired. If you're watching this because you've been someone's validation supply, hit that subscribe button, because what I reveal next will show you how we turn your feelings into our self-esteem boost. But here's where it got even more twisted. Thing number 3. I made you compete for my attention like it was a prize you had to earn. Even though you were the only one competing, I would pull back just to see how hard you'd work to pull me back in. I created artificial scarcity around myself to increase my perceived value. Month 10. I start taking longer to respond to your texts, not because I'm busy, but because I want to see how many times you'll text me before I respond. Each message you send makes me feel more important. Month 12. I cancel our plans last minute and watch how disappointed you get. Your disappointment makes me feel powerful because it means our time together matters to you more than it matters to me. Year 1. I start being less available for our usual hangouts. When you ask if everything's okay, I give vague answers. Your concern feeds my ego because it means you notice when I'm not giving you attention. Psychology calls this intermittent reinforcement, providing inconsistent rewards to create stronger emotional attachment. I wasn't pulling away because I was losing interest. I was pulling away to test how interested you were. Every time you chased me when I pulled back, it proved that I had power over you. Every time you worked harder when I gave you less, it confirmed that I was worth working for. I was training you to treat my attention like a rare gift, instead of something you deserved from someone who claimed to care about you. My hands shake every time I think about how I manipulated your natural desire to connect with me. Sometimes I feel so invisible that I create these games just to prove I exist to someone. But here's where I crossed into emotional sadism. Thing number 4. I needed your longing to make me feel alive when everything else felt dead. Your want for me was my life support when I couldn't find reasons to value myself. I fed off your desire like an emotional vampire. The more you wanted me, the more real I felt in my own skin. Year 1, month 2. I start paying attention to how you look at me. The hunger in your eyes makes me feel like I exist. Without that look, I feel invisible and worthless. Year 1, month 4. I catch myself creating moments where you'll want me more. Wearing your favorite dress, sitting closer than necessary. Not because I want you, but because I need to see that wanting in your eyes. Year 1, month 6. I realize your longing for me has become my oxygen. When you seem content or distant, I panic and do something to reignite your desire. I need you to need me to feel human. This is what psychology calls emotional vampirism, deriving emotional energy from someone else's intense feelings towards you. I wasn't just enjoying being desired, I was dependent on it for my emotional survival. When you looked at me like you were dying to touch me, I felt powerful and alive. When you seemed satisfied with just friendship, I felt empty and worthless. I was using your unrequited feelings as my antidepressant, and I was terrified of what would happen if you ever stopped wanting me. Your longing was my drug, and I was willing to keep you addicted just to keep my supply steady. I throw up 3 times during this period because I know I'm destroying someone who loves me, just to feel better about myself. Write me in the comments if you've ever been someone's emotional life support while they gave you nothing real in return. Watch my video, She Said Just Friends, but played with your soul, to understand how women use your desire as their validation drug. Because what I'm about to reveal shows the ultimate manipulation. But here's where I became truly cruel. Thing number 5. I played with your hope because controlling your dreams made me feel powerful. Every time I gave you a reason to believe something might happen between us, I felt like I was holding your entire emotional world in my hands. I wasn't giving you hope because I felt hopeful. I was giving you hope because being the source of someone's dreams felt intoxicating. Your hope was my drug, and I was addicted to the feeling of being someone's reason to believe in magic. Year 1, month 8. I start testing how much hope I can give you before you expect action. I say things like, maybe someday, and if things were different, just to watch your face light up. I feel intoxicated by my power to make you believe. Year 1, month 10. I let you almost kiss me at a party. I pull away at the last second, but I let the moment linger long enough to give you hope that next time might be different. I fall asleep, feeling high on my own influence over your emotions. Year 2. I tell you, I'm not ready for anyone right now, but you're the kind of person I'd want to be ready for. I watch you hold on to these words for months, and I feel addicted to being the source of someone's dreams. Psychology calls this hope manipulation, deliberately creating and sustaining false expectations to maintain control over someone's emotional state. I wasn't leading you on because I was confused about my feelings. I was leading you on because I was addicted to leading. Every time I gave you hope, I got to play God with your emotions. Every time I saw that hope in your eyes, I felt like I had supernatural powers over another human being. I was drunk on the ability to make someone believe in impossible things just by existing near them. Your hope became my cocaine, and I was willing to destroy your reality to keep getting high on my ability to shape it. I can't sleep for days after realizing how intoxicated I am by my own emotional manipulation. But here's the final and most devastating thing I did. Thing number 6. I turned you into my personal validation dispenser. Every emotional need I had, I trained you to fill. When I felt ugly, I'd seek your attention. When I felt worthless, I'd collect your affection. When I felt invisible, I'd demand your focus. You became my human antidepressant, and I became addicted to the prescription. Year 2, month 2, I realize I reach out to you whenever I feel bad about myself, not to share my feelings, but to get you to make me feel better about them. You've become my emotional vending machine. Year 2, month 4, I notice I time my vulnerabilities around your availability. When I need to feel special, I know exactly which buttons to push to get you to remind me that I am. I've programmed you to be my self-esteem boost. Year 2, month 6. I understand that I've trained you to meet every emotional need, except the one that would actually fulfill me. Genuine love. I've created a relationship where you give me everything, and I give you nothing. And I've convinced myself this is friendship. Psychology calls this emotional exploitation, systematically using someone's care for you to meet your own needs without reciprocating. I wasn't just taking your emotional energy. I was converting your love into my self-worth and giving you nothing of equal value in return. When I felt insecure, I'd text you knowing you'd make me feel beautiful. When I felt alone, I'd call you knowing you'd make me feel chosen. When I felt worthless, I'd see you knowing you'd make me feel valuable. I had turned our entire relationship into a system where your job was to fix my feelings about myself. You were my emotional pharmacy, and I was overdosing on your care while never offering you any real medicine in return. I spend an entire week unable to look at myself in the mirror after understanding what I've become. And here's what I wish I could take back. Now you understand why I kept you in my life. It wasn't because you were important to me. It was because you made me feel important to myself. I didn't keep you close because I valued you. I kept you close because you made me feel valuable. Every moment you spent loving me, I was converting into fuel for an ego that was running on empty. Here's what I wish I could have said. I'm not keeping you in my life because I care about you. I'm keeping you because I'm addicted to how much you care about me. Some women don't keep men around because we love them. We keep them around because we're addicted to being loved by them. Do I regret using your desire as my drug? Every single day. Do I understand why I did it? Finally, yes. Do I think you should stay with someone who treats your love like their medicine? That's a question only your heart can answer. If someone is currently keeping you in their life just to feel wanted, maybe they're not confused about their feelings for you. Maybe they're just confused about their feelings for themselves. And maybe the question isn't whether they'll ever love you back. Maybe the question is whether you're ready to stop being someone else's emotional pharmacy. But how do you know when someone loves you versus when they love how you make them feel about themselves? That's a mystery I'm still learning to solve. If you want to understand more about how women use your friendship while living double lives, watch my video, She Said You're Her Best Friend But Lived a Double Life. That video will show you the difference between being someone's friend and being someone's emotional supply.